Video game franchises usually give off an air of confidence and comfort. Sadly, usually does not mean always. Some franchises have a bad egg that ruins it for everyone. Heck, sometimes it can even destroy the entire series. Here are 10 games that have killed their own respective franchise through poor sales, presentation, and/or gameplay. A lot of these games are bad. Like, bad. And others have the unfortunate luck of being the final game that destroyed an empire. Command & Conquer is a series that helped define the real-time strategy genre. It had fantastic gameplay, a great story, and even the spin-off games were a blast to play. Then, Command & Conquer 4 Tiberian Twilight showed up, and everything changed. Including changing many of the series' staples like the permanent base, they completely threw the single-player campaign out the window. You had to be always online to play the game, so God forbid you disconnect. If you did, kiss all that progress goodbye. And that was the last time the public got their hands on a Command & Conquer game. Sure, there was a free-to-play game in the works, but it never left alpha. It's always difficult to see one of video games' big titans fall down this hard. Dino Crisis had a perfect premise. Basically Resident Evil, but with T-Rexes. And as expected, people loved it. They loved the first one, and they adored the second one. And then Dino Crisis 3 reared its ugly, scaly head. Capcom Production Studio 4 tried to do something different with Dino Crisis 3, but fell flat on their faces right in the beginning. The biggest problem with Dino Crisis 3 was the horrible camera and controls for the jetpack. You would think they would tailor the gameplay with the jetpack in mind, but they seemed to completely ignore the fact that you were zipping around the levels and the poor camera was exhausted and out of breath trying to keep up with you. No one seemed to like the third addition to the dinosaur survival horror series, which caused it to become extinct. Well, until Capcom pulled a John Hammond and decided to resurrect the dinosaurs back for a reboot. Let's just hope they leave the jetpack at home, and not hire Newman as their only IT guy. Empire Earth 3 tried to reach a broader audience by streamlining many aspects of the game to make it more approachable. Sadly, it did the complete opposite, and made newbies and loyal fans alike run away screaming from this hideous, clunky beast. With the newly streamlined gameplay, the complexity and depth that the fans adored completely vanished, and all we were left with were dull matches that usually ended in a Zerg rush. Fans of the Lunar games were excited when the third installment of the series, Lunar Dragon Song, was announced for the DS. A new Lunar game hasn't been released since the 90s, so fans were eager to tackle this new game and feast on its glory. Sadly, the feast gave everyone food poisoning and had the aftertaste of stale Cheetos. The developers try to make this title unique from the other installments, and RPGs in general, by giving you two conditions for combat. Either you'll win experience, or items, which made the game move at a snail's crawl. I want to give them points for trying to be different, but different doesn't always mean better. In the end, Lunar Dragon Song didn't do well sales-wise, and with that, the series was dead in the water. Similar to the Empire Earth series, the Master of Orion games were classics in their respective genre. And just like Empire Earth 3, Master of Orion 3 thought it would be best to run the series into the ground. Master of Orion 3 had clunky UI, abysmal AI, and more bugs than a Motel 6. The game promised features like colonization of moons and asteroids, but that never really happened. Trading and diplomatic relations were more difficult to master than the Gordian's knot. It's the knot that Alexander the Great had to... just wiki it. The Master of Orion community tried to fix the game with mods, but that's never a good sign when the community literally had to step in to try to save their beloved game. Medal of Honor Warfighter was supposed to be EA's shot at taking down the first-person shooter juggernaut Call of Duty. It looked good, the demos were cool, and the impressive Frostbite 2 engine backed it all up. Sadly, it only sounded good on paper. The game itself was more bland than we were expecting. Which is sad. All the ingredients were there for a great game, but the execution was too weak. And if you're trying to take down Call of Duty, you need to go big or go home. Medal of Honor Warfighter tried to go big, but sadly had to pack all its things and go home. And taking danger close with it. Red Faction Armageddon was supposed to grab more fans for THQ's successful shooter, and it was supposed to be a big deal. They even made a sci-fi movie to help promote the franchise. Instead, Red Faction Armageddon disregarded the series' most beloved aspect of a completely destructible open world for linear cover shooting combat. Armageddon didn't sell well, and THQ dropped the IP completely. Sure, Nordic Games has it now, but they really haven't done anything with it. Do you remember Turok Dinosaur Hunter for the N64? I do. I loved it. It was even picking up a lot of steam with its sequels and looked primed and ready to take the next generation of consoles. And by next gen, I mean GameCube, Xbox, and PS2. Turok Evolution came out to show everyone that Turok is and will always be a top dog in the industry. But the game was bad. Really uncomfortably bad. A Turok game came out in 2008 to try to revive the dino-slaying charm that we all knew and loved, but sadly, it couldn't wash out the stench of Captain Tobias and his racism. Ultima 9 had big shoes to fill, especially after the complete disappointment of Ultima 8. Ascension promised to be bigger and better than the last game, and promised to be a great send-off for the series. We were promised a golden rainbow that would fulfill all of the fans' desires, but we got a sick honey badger that kept gnawing at our ankles. Where in other Ultima games you had a huge world to explore, Ascension threw away this idea and made sure players had no say in the direction of the game. The game felt unfinished, and the ending was weaker than paper. Very unsatisfying for a huge and expansive series. Ultima 9 Ascension was the final nail in the Ultima series coffin, which also led to Origin closing. But EA still uses their name, which is kind of nice. Really odd way to respect the dead. Square Enix's Saga series was always trying to do something different with the JRPG formula. They did very well in the beginning, being called some of the better RPGs out there. Then Unlimited Saga came out. Unlimited Saga was built to play like a board game. It was a game designed in a specific direction that broke the RPG convention. Unlimited Saga actually did well in Japan, selling nearly 500,000 copies in the region. But Unlimited Saga was ripped to shreds everywhere else. No one thought it was a good game, so no one bought it, which forced Square Enix to make the hard choice and bring the Saga series behind the barn. I mean, there is a mobile card game out, but it feels more like a slap in the face than a continuation of the series. And there you have it, folks. 10 games that tried their darndest but just weren't good enough. They fell to the ground and they fell hard, and they took their developers down with them. Just because you have a strong franchise doesn't mean you're safe from disaster. What other games can you think of that killed their respective franchise? What do you think of this list? Let us know in the comments below. And for all your gaming needs, be sure to head over to usgamer.net.